Do you want to capture food photos that not only look delicious but also leave your viewers drooling and craving a taste? You might assume it's a complicated process requiring a high-tech studio setup, but the truth is, it's much simpler than you think. In this video, I'll reveal my top 3 tips for creating irresistibly appetizing food photos. Hi, it's Rose again here, your online buddy who loves sharing food photography tips and tricks. Teaching is my true love, but I am also on a mission to empower small businesses to take beautiful photos of their food and products. Over the years, I've collaborated with these amazing local brands. Let me set the record straight. You won't find any gimmicky tricks here. No motor oil on pancakes or glue on cereals. I firmly believe in keeping things natural, both in the kitchen and behind the camera. After all, who wants to photograph food they wouldn't eat themselves, right? So, let's stick to the most authentic methods, shall we? The first tip is to really showcase the textures and deliciousness of food using lighting and angles. When it comes to food photography, one of the primary goals is to make viewers crave the dish just by looking at the photo. Since they cannot taste it, you need to tantalize their taste buds through visual cues, particularly by highlighting the textures and delicious details of the food. To achieve this, we pay attention to lighting and angles. Proper lighting can make all the difference in bringing out the textures and colors of the food. Natural light, especially soft, diffused light, works wonders for accentuating details without harsh shadows. Consider shooting near a window or using a diffuser to soften direct sunlight. How you position your subject in relation to your light source matter too. Side lighting introduces depth and dimension to your photos by casting shadows across the subject. This technique adds visual interest and can highlight textures and shapes, particularly in food or dishes with intricate details. Next, let's talk about angles. Experimenting with different angles allows you to capture the food from its most flattering perspective. For example, shooting from a slightly above angle, known as the overhead or flat lay shot, is ideal for showcasing the arrangement and texture of dishes like salads or charcuterie boards. Alternatively, getting down to eye level with the food can create a more intimate and immersive experience for the viewer. This is perfect for tall subjects like cakes, burgers, and stacked food, where you want to capture the layers and textures up close. Oh, and it's best for drinks too. Tip number 2 is styling and storytelling. So first, let's talk about styling. The way you arrange and present your food can greatly impact its visual appeal. You start by showcasing the freshness, colors, and textures of the ingredients. Arrange them in a way that highlights their natural beauty, whether it's the vibrant hues of fresh vegetables or the intricate layers of a cake. And it doesn't end with the ingredients. You can also arrange your scene to make it look more visually appealing, just like what I did with this dish. This is how it looks without any styling, just the dish itself. It looks a bit lonely, right? But just a bit of styling made a huge difference. I just added this dried flowers, the sauce, and the soup, and here's the effect. So here's the before and after. So with and without styling. Now, going back to the food itself, consider adding garnishes, sauces, or props to enhance the presentation and add visual interest to your composition. Garnishes like fresh herbs, drizzles of sauce, or sprinkles of spices can add texture and flavor cues to the dish while also adding pops of color to the scene. Now, when selecting props, choose items that complement the food and help tell the story you want to convey. Just like what I did earlier for this Chilean sea bass meal. So I added the sauce and the dried flowers and the soup just to make it look more visually appealing and to tell a story that someone's about to indulge in this delicious meal. I also added utensils, as you can see. Now let's talk about storytelling. Every photograph has a story to tell, and food photography is no exception. Think about the narrative you want to convey through your image. Are you showcasing the rustic charm of homemade comfort food or the elegant sophistication of a gourmet dish? Consider capturing the preparation process or including elements that provide context and evoke emotions. Showcasing hands slicing through a freshly baked loaf of bread or steam rising from a bowl of soup can transport the viewer into the kitchen and make them feel a part of the culinary experience. By focusing on styling and storytelling, you can create food photographs that not only look visually stunning, but also tell a compelling story that resonates with your audience. Tip number 3 is photo editing. Photo editing is often ignored but actually a very important step in refining and enhancing your food photos to achieve a polished and professional look. Whether you're adjusting colors, enhancing contrast, or fine-tuning details, the right editing techniques can take your images to the next level. Here are some key aspects to consider when editing your food photos. First is color correction. Adjust the color temperature, saturation, and vibrance to ensure that the colors in your image appear accurate and vibrant. You can also use selective color adjustments to make specific elements stand out, such as the vibrant red of a ripe tomato or the golden brown of a freshly baked dessert. Next is contrast and exposure. Fine-tune the contrast and exposure levels to ensure that your image has a balanced tonal range. Enhance the highlights and shadows to add depth and dimension to your photo, making the food appear more appetizing and enticing. Then we have sharpening and clarity. Use sharpening and clarity adjustments to enhance the details and textures in your food photos. This can help make the individual ingredients and textures pop, adding visual interest and making the food look more inviting. Finally, cropping and composition. Experiment with different cropping and composition techniques to find the most visually appealing composition for your image. Consider the rule of thirds, leading lines, and negative space to create a dynamic and engaging composition that draws the viewer's eye to the focal point of the photo. Remember, photo editing is not cheating. It's part of the creative process and a very important one. So if you want to make your food photos more appetizing and inviting, practice editing your food photos moving forward. I also have a full video of how I edit my food photos and actually food and product photos. So make sure to check that out. I'll try to add that here. By the way, here's the before and after editing of a few food photos from my recent photo shoots. Photo editing is amazing, right? So to recap, my top 3 tips to make your food photos look appetizing and enticing are: number 1, to showcase the textures and deliciousness of the food using light and angles. Number 2, styling and storytelling with strategic use of props. And finally, tip number 3 is photo editing to polish your photo and make it really pop. Try applying these 3 tips in your next photo shoot and see the difference. And a bonus tip: practice. Like any other skill, food photography takes practice. So keep shooting, experimenting, and learning from your results. With time and persistence, you'll develop the skills to create mouth-watering food photos that capture the essence of your culinary creations. Wow, that sounds fancy. And with all of that said, I've got Skillshare classes that offer in-depth insights into different aspects of food and product photography. Whether you use a smartphone or DSLR, there's something here for you to explore. And you guessed it, Perky Rose has something to add. By joining Skillshare, you gain access to not only my classes, but also over 40,000 courses from talented creators worldwide. Plus, the first 100 signups using the link in the description below can enjoy 1 month free. If you have any questions or requests for future videos, don't hesitate to drop a comment below. And if you're hungry for more food and product photography tips and tricks, be sure to check out this playlist. I don't know where it's gonna be, so don't forget to hit like and subscribe for more content, and I hope to see you in the next video.